Hello and welcome to Geeky Bit Bonus! Today we're going to talk about a Floppy Emu. And no, I don't mean the bird, I mean a piece of hardware. You might be wondering what in the world is a Floppy Emu? Well, simply put, it's like a Gotek floppy emulator, but for Apple and Mac computers. It can even emulate SmartPort hard drives and early Macintosh hard drives. Here's an example of what a Floppy Emu looks like. This one right here is one I've put in my own 3D printed case. Here are the specs for the Floppy Emu. It can emulate 140K, 400K, 800K, and 1.44 megabyte floppy disks. And you can emulate hard drives as well, like I said, via the SmartPort or HD20. It can read most image types and store files on an SD card. When it comes to alternatives, boy howdy are there alternatives. There's the booti, there's the wdrive, there is the CFFA 3000, there's the SCSI2SD, there is the SDFloppy II, and many others. One thing to note is a lot of the alternatives are either compatible with Apple IIs or Macintosh computers, but not typically universally compatible with both. So you might be wondering, is Floppy Emu the best then? Well, there's no clear-cut best like with the Gotek, but it is one of the most feature and support-rich external drive emulators. The Floppy Emu has a fairly high price, and that's because there aren't many options that are so widely supported. There are other options like the SCSI2SD and the BlueSCSI that only support SCSI. Those SCSI devices can even cost around the same as the Floppy Emu, and other options like the wdrive only officially support Apple II and not Macs, and no hard drive support. The Floppy Emu isn't an end-all be-all like the Gotek. In fact, it tries to be a jack of many trades and does that very well. It isn't the best, but it's definitely the best option we currently have. Here are my thoughts about the Floppy Emu. So I think regardless of its $100-ish US price tag, in the retro/Mac collector scene, it is a must-have, as older hard drives are mostly dead now, and floppies aren't really widely used anymore. Personally, I have one, and I think it's good, but I think you should also have like maybe a SCSI2SD or IDE solution to go with it, as it's better to have it as a dedicated floppy emulator and a dedicated hard drive emulator or hard drive. Having two Floppy Emus would also work, as you could have one dedicated as a hard drive and the other for floppy drive stuff, but a BlueSCSI is actually much cheaper. When in stock, you can get it for around $50-ish. I think the best solution is to have a BlueSCSI for each unit in your collection that uses SCSI, and then have one Floppy Emu that can float between units. Lastly, I wish there was a lower cost alternative that was as widely supporting as the Floppy Emu, but until then, I think it will be the retro Apple Mac user's best friend for now. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it, and if so, feel free to click that like button, and if you aren't subscribed so already, feel free to do so as well, and if you'd like to get notifications of future videos, click that bell button.